Well, Governor, I told you in the back, I sort of experienced a similar thing. I was working on the Capitol Hill at the time. My grandfather was here in South Carolina. He had diabetes and had complications, and all of a sudden his health slipped. And so I remember talking with Congressman Clyburn and saying, you know, my grandfather's really sick. I think I need to go back to Orangeburg. And he said, go. And I went there, and he was in the hospital. And I got there, I flew in that afternoon, and he was there, and I held his hand, and he took his last breath. Yeah. And the one thing I want you to know is, and it's something that lives with me every single day, and I know it lives with you. She took her last breath, and she held your hand, and it's hard, but it's one of the greatest expressions of love.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's right.
And so it is a hard memory, because it's one that is in my head every single day. And there are moments in which I'm driving, or there are moments when I'm reading, there are moments I'm playing with my kids, and the memory hits me, and I can't help but start crying.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't help but start tearing up. But then I remember the love. And the one thing in reading this book about your mom, she loved you.
God bless. I appreciate
Yes, she loved you, and it's just powerful. There's this one story in which you talked about having a tough little league game.
Oh gosh.
And your mom, after the game, takes you with a bucket of baseballs. Because she was a heck of an athlete as well.
She was a great athlete. So I'm in Little League, and you know, anyone who plays baseball or as a Little Leaguer, I played right field. And, I don't have to say much more. And I'll never forget, Maurice Bigden, I can't remember exactly. It may have been Maurice. I didn't write the name because I wasn't sure, but I think it was Maurice Bigden. Big right-hander. I played for Round Table Pizza. Joe Wagner, Little League. Strike one. Strike two. Strike three. Boom. Next at bat. Ball one. Strike one, two, three, out. Third time, I just held the bat. Three strikes out. I'm crying, I'm devastated. My mom is there. We live near the Little League thing. I came back home and I just said, I'm quitting, I can't do this. And my mom said, let's go. I said, what? She grabbed those balls, and she went out. The field was empty, and she started pitching to me. And, you know, think about that, man. That was just a lesson in persistence.
Yeah.
And, you know, not only did that persistence pay off, it got me into college on a partial baseball scholarship. And, you know, that's what moms do.
Yes.
Those, you want superpowers. That's moms. That, you know, I mean, and how blessed am I? I mean, that's the grit. Just this, you know, and it's your point, just fierce. But, you know, it was hard. You know, I was saying, you know, when you've got learning disability, where you quite literally, I mean, and you know, I joke about I'm in the wrong profession today because I can't read a speech. You know, you'll never see me, you've never seen me go up in the Democrat, looking down, looking up a speech, because the words I can't do it.
And for those of you, in the book, the governor talks about learning that he has I can't even say it.
Well, Jamie, we could discuss dyslexia. Maybe yours.
I know.
You know.
Well, you know,
it's okay.
I do have this Southern tongue, and if you grew up in my house, my grandma would mess up a word in a heartbeat, and my grandfather would say, "Look at her. She thinks she's so sophisticated and can't even say it." Well, I inherited every bit of that. Well, you talk about dyslexia.
Yeah, no, I found all this paperwork. Yes. I got home one day and saw the file open. I was bored and opened this stuff up, and it was all this stuff observing me. And it was all there. I mean, just files and files and files. Still have them over the years of these classes. I was going, I never knew why. I just assumed everyone was doing Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after school stuff, and a little bit of summer. And it was describing how the words were backwards, had a lisp back in the day. That was more easily solved, but the spelling has never been solved. If you want me to dedicate something in the book, just good luck trying to read my writing. I mean, and you know, and it's not something you get rid of. It's just something you work around. I don't know if you overcome it, but you work around it. And it turned out I am literally sitting here because of it. It's a gift because it forces you to develop other skills. And it forces you to have some empathy, to feel like you have to be more collaborative. You know, it sensitizes you to the world around. You feel the room. You absorb more emotionally. I mean that, because by definition, you know, reading a speech, by definition, you have to read a room. And those feelings present themselves positively sometimes and negatively. I mean, it could create more anxiety, more stress, but also, you know, after time, more reps, right? You got to fail forward fast. Secret of all success is moving from failure to failure with enthusiasm. And this notion of iteration. And that's been a gift, and I've been willing. I mean, the one thing that marks so much of what I do talk about in political terms is a willingness to take risks consistently. I mean, it's reflected in my social media today. That's not normal, what we're doing. The same, you know. I know, forgive me, some of you may not like it. Wash his mouth out with soap. But thank you. I mean, yeah, we can maybe get into that if you want a little bit more. Yeah, that's right.
Few more things about the book, and then we'll get into some current.
Okay, then we are going to get into all that.
Yeah, I don't want your publishers to be like, that Jamie didn't
even bring up the damn book.
Bring up the damn book.
I want to talk about ice, which we'll talk about.
But in the book, you said that you write about learning about things about your parents that you did not fully understand growing up. Yeah. What surprised you the most?
Well, my mom, how she grew up. She didn't speak for almost 5 years. I thought, okay, that can't be true. I talked to her two sisters. It was true. She was a little gibberish, a little language she used. She was so quiet. Her father, my grandfather, had a real drinking problem. And there's a scene where he took his two twin daughters, my mom and her sister, and put a gun to their head at the fireplace. And my grandmother walked in, calmed him down, put him right to bed. He passed out. He came back from Corregidor. He marched, we talk a lot about the Bataan Death March, but the Corregidor March, and was a prisoner of war for years and years. I didn't know all this. Memoir of discovery. I learned about Arthur Menzies. He took his own life, committed suicide. I didn't know all those stories. I heard him secondhand, read something in the newspaper, was vaguely familiar with it. I didn't know his struggles. And as a consequence, it shaped my understanding and my empathy for my mom that I never fully absorbed. She called the house a house of secrets. No one ever talked about any of this. I didn't know why my parents, why they got divorced. I found out from an oral history my father did that no one knew about. Someone found it when I was trying to learn more about him. A friend said, didn't you ever hear the oral history of your dad? He did a tape recording with the Bancroft Library at Berkeley, and he talks about why he left us. Like, okay. And I'm listening to this, and turns out he ran for county supervisor in San Francisco, lost. Then turned around and ran for state senate and lost. And in the interview said, I was broke, lost 2 races, and broken. And I panicked, and I just had to get the hell out of there. And moved up towards Lake Tahoe, Truckee region, where he became an attorney. And it explains why my mother, Jamie,
hated politics.
And she told me I never understood it. Up until her last days, she said, I don't want you to get in politics. And I never understood it. Was I not good at it? And it never fully shaped me to then understand that's the damn origin story, so much of it. Again, that's the gift of doing something like this. I hope it's a gift you can give yourself. All of you. You all have stories to tell, things to discover that understand, that can motivate you also, that can also, give you grace. Let things go. We're just so anxious, so stressed, just always trying to compare ourselves, that thief to all happiness, right? Comparison. And once you start to understand, then you can be understood. And that's the mask I'm starting to take off. And I feel reflected in that social media, reflected in this memoir and my understanding of my past a little bit more and my present, just letting it go, just being myself. It's messy. A lot of you may not have shown up if you had actually read it. but it's me. It's me. And that's all I can be.
You think about,
Yes.
you think about the coin that you had. It's two sides of a coin, right? On one side, your mom hated politics. On the other side, your dad was infatuated with politics. And when you first got your first position, he was the person who actually swore you in, right? County supervisors for a role that he lost.
Well, they swore me in for a different reason.
Oh.
In the book, I briefly described, I am here because of my parents, but I'm also here in political terms because of one extraordinary human being.
Willie Brown.
Willie Brown. And for those that don't know Willie Brown, you wouldn't know Kamala Harris without Willie Brown. Kamala and I both got elected the same day. She was district attorney. I was mayor. She was there, my mayor's swearing in. We walked literally across the street, swore in as district attorney. The one thing we both had in common was Willie Brown. A friend, a supporter, a mentor, a legend in California politics. Let me just briefly describe you. He was Speaker of the Assembly in the state of California. Dominant voice. They could not get rid of him. Republicans took back control, and he made a deal with the Republicans to stay Speaker. They couldn't even get rid of him.